We like the search for the new. Among other things, because there are no given rules, but infinite possibilities for charismatic ideas.
Hmm.
So, a lighting design company recently published that manifesto, and it completely stopped me in my tracks. Welcome to the deep dive.
Yeah, it's quite a statement.
It really is. Today, we are looking at this really fascinating stack of sources. We've got design catalogs, architectural reviews, and there's this really brilliant piece by Marie Godfrain in Le Monde,
Right.
and it all centers on Nemo Lighting. So our mission for this deep dive is to explore how this specific company manages to, bridge these legendary 20th century architectural minds with cutting-edge model designers.
And essentially transform the simple act of illumination into high art.
Exactly. High art. But I want to start with that phrase from their manifesto, charismatic ideas.
Yeah, that's the hook.
Right. Because when I hear the word charisma, I usually picture, a captivating public speaker or like a movie star.
Per person.
Yeah, a person. So the idea that a piece of like extruded metal and an LED can possess charisma, that is a really bold claim for an industrial designer to make.
It is a bold claim, yeah. And it strikes at the core of what separates a functional appliance from a piece of architecture.
Mm-hmm.
And, Marie Godfrain captures this dynamic perfectly in the Le Monde piece you mentioned.
She really does.
She knows that Nemo emerges as, an outsider in the design world.
An outsider, right.
Because they have this unique collection that pulls from outstanding architects of the 20th century. So we're talking titans like Le Corbusier and Mario Bellini.
Oh, wow, yeah. Heavyweights.
Total heavyweights.
Yeah.
And they place them directly alongside today's designers. But the key to that charisma is that each designer, whether they're from 1950 or designing today, they are determined to bring the poetry and the technique of their own time into the physical world.
The poetry and the technique, I love that phrasing.
Right. She explicitly points to the bird lamp by Bernhard Ossan as an example of this.
Oh, we definitely need to talk about the bird lamp later.
Oh, absolutely. But just on the idea of charisma, a lamp has charisma when its mere presence, alters the gravity of a room.
Alters the gravity, yeah.
Because Nemo isn't just manufacturing bulbs and wires. They're designing spatial experiences.
Well, and that outsider perspective is so interesting because it means they are essentially playing matchmaker across time.
That's a good way to put it.
Right. They're orchestrating this conversation between mid-century masters and hyper-modern innovators. And if we look at this idea of having no given rules, like the manifesto states, we really have to look at the physical space where Nemo grounds its identity.
Right, because you can debate design philosophy endlessly, but
the real test is how these objects behave in a physical environment.
Exactly.
And they recently unveiled a new showroom in Milan. It's on Via Santa Cecilia, designed by Ron Gilad.
Yes, the new Milan space.
And the source material goes out of its way. It explicitly categorizes this not as a standard exhibition space, but as a field of light.
A field of light. And what's fascinating here is that phrase suggests a complete rejection of the traditional showroom format.
How so? Like, break that down for me.
Well, think about a standard retail environment for a second. The room is merely a passive container.
Right, just a box to put stuff in.
Exactly. You have a square box, and the lamps are just these isolated objects placed on, pedestals or shelves within that box.
Yeah.
But Gilad's approach treats the existing architecture of Via Santa Cecilia as an active participant.
The analogy that came to my mind while I was reading about Gilad's concept is it's like a botanical garden.
Oh, okay.
Because if you go to a typical furniture showroom, it feels like a warehouse with premium flooring, right?
Yeah.
Just aisles of disconnected products.
Yes. Very sterile.
Right. But in a botanical garden, the plants aren't just sitting in pots on a shelf.
Right.
They're integrated into an ecosystem. They interact with the soil, the layout, the very structure of the greenhouse itself.
That is highly accurate.
It seems like Gilad is creating an ecosystem for illumination, where the building itself interacts with the glow of the products.
It's an ecosystem analogy that works perfectly because it highlights the symbiotic relationship between the source and the surface.
Symbiotic, yeah.
When you step into the Via Santa Cecilia space, Ron Gilad has engineered this scenario where the product and the architecture just merge.
Wow.
The illumination is actively defining the walls, the corners, the spatial flow of the building.
So it's not just a lamp in a corner. The lamp makes the corner.
Exactly. It's a radical shift in interior design thinking
Yeah.
because it demands that we stop viewing light fixtures as mere decorative accessories.
Right. Like throw pillows or something.
Right. They are structural elements. The message to the visitor is very clear. You are not here to look at a lamp. You are here to observe what the lamp does to the physical world around it.
So if the light alters the room becomes part of the light. It's this cohesive unit. And having established this environment that treats light as a structural element, it actually provides the perfect context to examine how Nemo preserves the legacy of one of the 20th century's most legendary architectural minds.
Charlotte Perriand.
Charlotte Perriand.
Yes. She is a towering figure in modern architecture.
Absolutely.
Her understanding of, I guess you could call it utilitarian poetry, how functional objects can possess a quiet, unassuming beauty.
Yeah.
That is fundamental to mid-century design.
And the specific piece the sources highlight here is her applique of volet pivotal.
An absolute classic.
For anyone listening who might not be familiar with the exact French name, you have almost certainly seen its influence.
Oh, everywhere.
It is this incredibly iconic wall lamp with a brilliantly simple mechanic. So it features this folded metal shutter that sits directly in front of the light source, and you physically pivot that shutter to direct the beam.
You become the dimmer switch.
Yes. You manually interact with this piece of metal to alter the atmosphere of the room. But this actually brings up a massive point of contention for me based on the recent catalog updates we looked at.
Okay, let's hear it.
So Nemo has just introduced an outdoor version of this legendary piece.
They did, yes.
And I have to play devil's advocate here, I really do.
Go for it.
Why take a carefully calibrated historical indoor masterpiece and just, I don't know, stick it outside to face rain and wind and oxidation?
I see where you're going.
I mean, I have to be honest, when I read this, I felt a little defensive. It feels like tampering with a classic just for the sake of, expanding a product line.
Well, I hear you. The instinct to put a mid-century masterpiece behind museum glass is very common.
Right. Protect it.
But if we connect this to the bigger picture, it fundamentally misunderstands the ethos of designers like Perriand.
Really? How so?
Because these were not delicate artists crafting fragile sculptures. They were pragmatic architects solving spatial problems.
Ah, okay. Pragmatic.
Right. By engineering the appareil pivotant for the outdoors, Nemo is proving a commitment to bringing historical technique into contemporary relevance.
Well, I can understand updating the materials to make it weather resistant, right? Like maybe swapping out the metals or sealing the electrical components. But does changing the context from, say, a cozy indoor reading nook to a patio wall, doesn't that dilute the original intention of the design?
I would argue it actually fulfills the original intention within a modern context.
Fulfills it. Okay, unpack that.
Think about it this way. In the mid-20th century, the boundary between indoor and outdoor living was architecturally very rigid.
Right. You had the house, a heavy door, and then the yard.
Exactly. But today, architectural spaces flow seamlessly. We have these massive sliding glass walls. Our living rooms extend onto decks.
Oh, that's true. Outdoor kitchens that mirror our indoor ones.
Yes. So if Charlotte Perriand were drafting blueprints today, she would undoubtedly want her mastery of light to extend into the exterior environment because, well, that is how we live now.
Wow.
Nemo isn't freezing her work in a time capsule. They are translating a 20th century masterpiece to meet the environmental and architectural realities of the 21st century.
That reframes the outdoor transition entirely for me.
It changes the perspective, right?
It really does. It's not about changing the design. It's about issuing the design a passport to travel to where modern architecture has naturally evolved.
I love that. A passport to modern architecture.
So if Perriand gave us manual, tactile control over light in the 20th century, Nemo's contemporary vanguard takes that desire for control and applies, 21st century physics to it.
Oh, absolutely.
Because the modern indoor pieces detailed in our sources, they look like they outright defy gravity.
The Vanguard collection is really where Nemo's engineering becomes effectively invisible.
Invisible is the perfect word.
It allows the raw concept to just take center stage.
Let's break down 3 of these highly technical contemporary pieces that perfectly illustrate this. So we have the Chloris, the Untitled Table / Wall Linear, and the Flamingo.
Okay, great lineup.
Starting with the Chloris. The catalog describes these single LED sources inserted into polycarbonate diffusers, framed by a unique conductive structure.
Right.
And it makes them appear to literally float in the air.
It's stunning in person.
Visually, reading about it, it sounds like capturing fireflies in an invisible net. But mechanically speaking, I need an ELI 5 here.
An ELI 5.
Yeah, explain it like I'm 5. Because this conductive structure thing, if I don't see thick insulated wires running to these floating diffusers, what is actually carrying the electrical current safely?
Okay, ELI 5. It relies on advanced material integration.
Okay.
So instead of running a traditional copper wire that's wrapped in plastic insulation alongside a metal support frame, the frame itself acts as the electrical pathway.
Wait, so there's no wire, literally no wire, just the frame.
Exactly. The frame is the track. They use low-voltage currents running through isolated tracks within that extruded structure.
But isn't that dangerous? Like touching the frame?
No, because it's very low voltage, so it's completely safe. But it provides just enough power to drive the high-efficiency LEDs hidden within the polycarbonate.
Oh, wow.
And they use polycarbonate because it's incredibly lightweight, and it diffuses the harsh, pinpoint glare of an LED into this very soft, ambient glow.
I see.
So by eliminating the bulky infrastructure we subconsciously expect to see powering a light, your brain interprets those glowing diffusers as weightless.
It's an illusion achieved through rigorous material science.
Yes.
The visual weight just vanishes because the structure is doing double duty as the power grid. That is incredible.
It's brilliant engineering.
So then we look at the untitled table wall linear.
Yes, the untitled linear.
The key feature the sources highlight here is its clean design paired with, quote, miniaturized joints allowing for extreme flexibility.
Extreme flexibility.
Right. Now, when I read about miniaturized joints capable of extreme movement, my mind doesn't go to a cozy reading lamp.
Where does it go?
I picture the precision of a robotic surgical arm. Or like aerospace engineering.
That is actually a very apt comparison.
Right. It implies a tool you calibrate with intense precision, not just something you flip on to read a book.
The surgical arm analogy captures the mechanical reality perfectly.
Really?
Yeah. Because the miniaturization of the joints means the friction hinges,
The friction hinges, right.
the pivot points that hold the lamp in place, they have their visual footprint reduced to the absolute minimum.
Barely there.
Right. Yet they must maintain enough constant tension to hold the lamp steady at these extreme sort of dramatic angles without drooping over time.
Because there's nothing worse than a desk lamp that slowly sags while you're working.
Exactly. We've all had that lamp.
Yeah.
To prevent that with such tiny joints requires incredibly tight engineering tolerances.
So we have floating LEDs and robotic friction hinges.
Right.
And rounding out this trio is the Flamingo floor lamp.
The Flamingo.
Just the name itself invokes this delicate, long-legged balance.
Yes, it really does.
The sources note it reinterprets the relationship between movement, balance, and light through essential design.
You know, when you synthesize the chloris, the untitled linear, and the flamingo, a definitive thematic pattern emerges across Nemo's contemporary work.
And what is that?
They are entirely focused on kinetic freedom.
Kinetic freedom.
Right. They are exploring physical balance, floating aesthetics, extreme spatial flexibility. Because historically, a floor lamp or a desk lamp was a static, heavy anchor.
Oh, yeah. You placed a heavy brass base on a desk and it just stayed there.
Right.
You had to physically move this heavy, clunky object if you wanted the light to shift even a few inches.
Precisely. But these contemporary designs are dynamic tools. And this actually brings us right back to Marie Godfrey's observation in Le Monde about bringing the poetry and technique of our own time into reality.
Ah, yes. And we promised we'd talk about the bird lamp.
Yes. Another stunning example of this kinetic freedom in Nemo's collection is Bernhard Osan's famous bird lamp.
It's so strange and wonderful.
It really is. It balances on a single point, utilizing counterweights to create an object that actively interacts with gravity.
So you aren't just lighting a surface. You are you're engaging with a kinetic sculpture that responds to your spatial needs.
Exactly. It's functional art.
A kinetic sculpture that just casually handles your reading light.
Casually, yes.
The amount of mechanical friction and tension required to make something look that effortless, it's just staggering.
It takes a lot of work to look simple.
It really does.
Okay.
But, while these vanguard pieces are highly structural, focusing on sharp angles and invisible currents and robotic precision, Nemo also explores the completely opposite end of the spectrum.
You do. They have a very soft side as well.
Right. They treat light as a soft, intimate, untethered companion, which we really see in the Lorosae table lamp and the Fox collection.
Let's talk about the Fox collection first. It's a fascinating study in minimal intervention.
Minimal intervention, okay?
It has just been expanded with new finishes, and its defining characteristic is its ability to provide overhead illumination without requiring overhead wiring.
Which is huge for renters, by the way.
Oh, it's a game changer. It uses these sleek, precise arcs to sweep right across a room, delivering light exactly where it is needed while maintaining this razor-thin footprint that doesn't dominate the visual airspace.
So it essentially provides the function of a heavy chandelier, but without the permanence of one.
Exactly.
And that idea of shedding permanence naturally brings us to the Lorosae table lamp.
Yes, the Lorosae.
The sources describe it as being crafted from translucent glass in pure, brilliant finishes.
That's gorgeous.
But the detail that holds the most architectural weight, for me anyway, is that it is battery rechargeable, and it diffuses this soft and uniform light.
The battery aspect is crucial.
It really is. And alongside this, the sources mentioned Nemo is pushing highly personalized customer service, offering to arrange, quote, tailor-made shipments.
Right.
So for a design enthusiast, a battery isn't just a neat gadget feature, right? It's not just a party trick.
Not at all.
What does it signify about modern spatial design that high-end luxury lighting is aggressively moving toward rechargeable, grid-independent table lamps?
Well, to put it bluntly, it signifies the end of the electrician's tyranny over interior design.
The electrician's tyranny. I love that.
It's true, though. For over a century, our interior lives were dictated by the architectural blueprint and the placement of wall outlets.
Oh, man. So true.
Think about it. You arrange your living room, your reading nook, even your bedside tables, not based on optimal flow or your personal preference, but based on where the electrical grid literally allowed you to plug in a lamp.
Wow. You were physically tethered to the infrastructure.
Yes.
The room dictated your behavior, not the other way around.
The wall outlet held all the power over the floor plan.
Oh, that's such a good way to frame it.
So by investing heavily in refined battery rechargeable pieces like the Lorosae, designers are democratizing the light.
Democratizing the light.
You are no longer subservient to the architecture. The light follows the human.
Yeah.
It shifts illumination from being a fixed infrastructure level utility to a deeply personalized sensory experience.
To sensory experience.
Right. And the choice of translucent glass is very deliberate here. The Lorosae isn't designed to flood a room with blinding utilitarian visibility.
It's not a floodlight.
No. It is designed to create an intimate sphere of comfort that you can physically carry from the dining table out to the balcony and then up to the bedside.
So it's essentially personal space on demand.
Exactly.
And tying that back to their tailor-made shipment services, it really reveals a company philosophy that's shifting toward hyper-personalization. They aren't just shipping a cardboard box to a zip code. They are curating the exact manner in which this object enters and interacts with your personal life.
It perfectly mirrors their founding manifesto.
Search for the new.
And the infinite possibilities. When the lamp is no longer physically anchored to the wall, the possibilities of where it travels and how it functions truly become infinite.
Right.
The rigid rules of traditional interior design are just dismantled in favor of human adaptability.
Let's trace the journey we just took through these sources, because it really charts an incredible evolution of how we control our environments.
It's been quite a trip.
Right. We started by stepping into Ron Gillad's field of light in Milan, seeing how architecture and illumination merge into a single breathing entity. Then we unpacked Charlotte Perriand's legacy, realizing that taking her iconic pivoting wall lamp outdoors wasn't tampering with history, but rather issuing it a passport to the modern architectural landscape.
Right.
We decoded the physics-defying floating LEDs of the Chloris and the kinetic, robotic flexibility of the untitled Luminaire.
The Vanguard.
Yes, the Vanguard. And finally, we brought it all down to a deeply human scale with the sweeping arcs of the Fox collection and the intimate, untethered glow of the battery-powered Lorosae.
And, every single piece we discussed reinforces the reality that lighting in your space is never just about visibility.
No.
It actively sets the emotional, architectural, and psychological tone of your daily life.
It really does. But before we officially wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you, our listener, with a final concept to mull over.
Okay, what's the thought?
We just spent all this time discussing how modern lamps like the Lorosae are becoming battery powered,
Yeah.
right? Completely untethered from our walls and our rigid power grids.
Right. The end of the tyranny.
The end of the tyranny. But think about the historical trajectory of that for a second. Are we essentially returning to the ancient era of carrying a personal candle or a lantern from room to room, just disguised as high-tech translucent glass and miniaturized LEDs?
Oh, wow.
Right. Have we utilized the most advanced, cutting-edge material science and battery technology available to us today just to circle all the way back to our most primitive ancestral relationship with light?
That is fascinating. We really have come full circle.
We have. It is something to sit with the next time you pick up a light to move to another room. Keep questioning the everyday, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.